Okay, so now let's hop over into iteach coursework because I'm really excited to share with you some of the changes that we've included in our coursework to help prepare our teachers for the present and the future as we start integrating AI efficiencies and excellences into our curriculum and into our learning experiences. So this is one of our first courses. This is 5100, and we have 6 instructional courses that all of our candidates take regardless of the state that they're in. Some of them are adapted to state specifics as needed, but they're the bulk of the learning, the core is essentially the same. So all of our candidates will receive this information, and we've included this artificial intelligence page just to let them learn about it. I mean, it's new, it's evolving, it's so quickly. So some of the big questions, how can AI technology be applied in education? And there's some drop downs there that give you some information. This information was gleaned from things that we found just through Khan Academy, from Teach AI, that's part of the Khan site, and an ISTE also had some information in there. So we're all trying to learn this pretty quickly, and we thought it was important that our teachers had their heads wrapped around about what AI is in general before you start jumping in and using it. And then in Module 1 is our pre-planning. This is our first learning module. And teachers are writing their teacher and why vision statement, which is really a personal reflection. So we didn't feel like that really needed an inclusion, but behavior management assignment definitely does. And I also wanted to showcase the Khan page. Oh, here it is right here. Under the review of the ISTE standards is the Khan page. And this is their first introduction to what Khanmigo is. And these are great videos that Khanmigo published for them to just get an overview of all the cool tools that Khanmigo supplies. And then here is the TED Talk that Sal Khan gave. It's been out for a while. It's really great. Gets us all excited about the possibilities of really creating engaging learning for our students. And then we just organize the different Khan tools that I just reviewed with you from the actual space, so our candidates can have that handy. And then getting started with Khanmigo here, I also showed you this just a second ago, just to remind them of where they can go to learn more. So that's in the 5100, which is one of our beginning courses. And then I wanted to jump over to 5300 to show you what it looks like actually in the coursework. So this is an assignment that all iteach candidates must submit. And what makes me pumped about this is, like, not only are we saying, hey, this is a cool tool for you to use, when you're a teacher in the classroom, we're saying, hey, this is a great tool that you can use right now as an iteach teacher candidate to help you start learning and wrapping your head around some of these really big skills that you need to have to be a great teacher. Writing objectives is one of those biggies. I mean, it's rooted in the standard, and it's foundational, and it kind of guides the entire lesson plan. So we must have this skill. So before they start doing this assignment, we've created this page right before the assignment, and I think I could probably show you it just so that you can see where it is in the flow of things. So here at the end of Module 1, this is the actual assignment, and then right before it, we've created that page. So remember, Khanmigo can help with this as a consistent thing we're putting in through the courses. Actually, 30 different times, and it's actually growing, are we putting this kind of information in here. So it's a consistent thread throughout. And we've summarized the information on this page in a video. Some people prefer to listen and more than read. So we're trying to meet people where they are and whatever their learning style is. And suggestions for Khanmigo support. And here is the learning objective tool that we're about to do live and on our own. So let's go ahead and jump over and play with that. Okay, so what I want to do now is I want to plan. And we'll go into the learning objective. And the learning objective that I'm going to use is from 7th grade. And I pulled it from the example that we include in the course just for consistency. It's a Kentucky standard. And I'm just going to toss that in here. And it's about chemical reaction and how mass is conserved, etc. And then when I click enter, Khanmigo is going to create an objective. And the objective gives me is students will construct a model to demonstrate that the number of atoms remains constant in a chemical reaction. And then it also gives me a student-facing objective, which is really, really great. However, in the particular assignment in the iteach coursework, it wants me to have 5 different standards, and it wants 2 of them at the high level of blooms. Okay, so I'm noticing that this objective that Khanmigo gave me is already at the high level, and I'm needing to show that I can understand and evaluate all the levels, or at least 5 of levels. So I'm going to ask it to give me 5 objectives aligned with the standard, where 2 represent high levels of blooms, create and evaluate, and the other 3 are lower. So let's see what happens. Okay, and notice all this is happening over here in the chat. Khanmigo is thrilled to help me create a bouquet of learning objectives that bloom at different levels of Bloom's taxonomy. That's pretty cute. Okay, so we're remembering by recalling, we're understanding by explaining, we are applying by identifying, and evaluating by critiquing, and then we can construct a model. Okay, that looks pretty good to me. So another thing that I want to include is some way of like measuring the learning, and so I'm going to suggest perhaps we include 80% accuracy. Okay. Weaving the threads of measurability to the fabric of our objectives makes them even more robust. Okay. All right, that is super helpful. I think this is actually really great. So what I want to do now is I'm going to copy this, and then this document over here, which is where the original response was put, I can just copy and paste it straight up over there. And let's see what happens. I know that the assignment wants only one level of, or one verb per objective. So I want to make sure that's the case. So explain, and we also want to highlight or bold the verbs as part of the assignment. Students will identify, that is the verb. Okay, and then students will critique. Okay, and then students will construct. I can bold that. To demonstrate. Okay, so this is good. Let's say that after I was thinking about this, I'm like, okay, well, this is great and all. It's awesome, but maybe I want to try something different. So I can highlight that and then ask Khanmigo to give me something different. And it will. Students will select specific instances of chemical reaction to illustrate concept. Okay, that's awesome. If I wanted to ask another question to Khanmigo, I could do that. I can just discuss. I can just ask a question and say, oh, it tosses me over here, and I could say, students will explain in their own words how the total number of, okay, how much time do you think this would take? Let's see. The dance of time and learning, a delicate balance, isn't it? Time it takes for a student to achieve objective can vary widely depending upon the several factors. And this is helping me kind of think behind this, thinking ahead a little bit, determining their prior knowledge, the complexity of examples, instructional methods, as Khanmigo is a great thinking partner to help us really level up our learning experiences we're creating for our students. Okay, so now I'm feeling pretty good about this. Now, if I go back, I'm going to double check and make sure that these levels of the objectives align with Bloom's, and they do, so that's awesome. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add some of the details the assignment asks for, just to be super explicit about this. this is grade 7th grade science. And the assignment asks for the actual standard, because in this particular course, we're really learning about standards in each of the states and the contents. And then it's probably a good idea to put my name. Awesome, I teach student. And then the last thing, even though it's kind of obvious, we do want to make note of any kind of resources that helped us develop these super awesome objectives. And so we're going to make sure that the instructor knows that Khanmigo helped us with this, and that's 100% acceptable. And then you have options for what you want to do with it. You can print it, hard copy print, or you can export it. You can make a Word doc out of it. You can create a PDF, or you could save it to your Google Drive where you put all the great lessons that you're going to start creating. So this is just the tip of the iceberg, friends, on all the wonderful things Khanmigo can help us do. When I think about when I was a first teacher, how much time it took me to develop really cool lesson plans that my students were pumped about. It took a minute, and just playing with Khanmigo and just kind of thinking about ways to make things relevant, to make things more aligned, etc., is really going to fast pass some brand new teachers to really exemplary teachers that are actually living what they vision themselves to be doing at a much faster pace. So we're super excited about this, and I'm just going to come over here and say thanks. Thanks, Khanmigo. We really appreciate all your help. And Khanmigo is also very, very positive. So if you're ever having a bad day, you could probably just visit a little bit, and you would likely to receive an encouraging word just to keep the faith. Teachers are important, doing amazing things every day. Thanks for watching.